Hi guys, it's Christine. I'm here with a book review for The Fifth Wave by Yancey. So I'm going to do a summary and then I will tell you when to look away if you have not read the book yet, because I want to discuss some of it and that's going to include some spoilers. But I will give you plenty of notice so that you don't accidentally get spoiled. So that being said, let's get started. So The Fifth Wave takes place in America, as most young adult dystopian fiction tends to do. It's told from the perspective of several characters. This is something that I did not know going into the book. I read the 70-page preview on Kindle and I thought the book was only about Cassie, but that is not true. It is told from the perspective of another young adult survivor who is a boy, so that's cool. And then there's also a couple chapters that are narrated by her brother Sam. So that was interesting and I liked it more than I thought that I would. I don't usually like it when first-person narrators change throughout the book, but I did like it, so don't let that scare you away if that's something that you're uneasy about. So the book goes through kind of how the aliens invade, and there's, as you know, a fifth wave. The first wave is cutting out electricity, the second wave is, like tsunamis. The third wave is a horrible disease. The fourth wave are drones or something. I should know this. I read the book. I really did. And then the book is told from the perspective of these three characters about their survival and how they're getting by and their goals and their motivations. And it's really interesting. It's a very, very quick read because it's written in the young adult tone, young adult style. So it's very easy to read, very colloquial. Vernacular, if I want to throw out another big literary word. So if this is something that you're interested in, definitely pick it up because it is well worth the read. It's really, really good. I guarantee you are going to devour this book and you are going to eat it up and it's going to be amazing and you're going to be so full. I haven't even picked up a book since I finished this like almost a week ago. So with that out there, the summary, kind of a review, let's get to the spoilery discussion of this book. So to begin with, I said I thought this was going to be just about Cassie, and I get to the next section after hers and I'm like, who's this guy? And I kind of suspected who it was going to be. I kind of suspected that it was going to be Ben Parrish because she's like, oh, I love Ben Parrish, I love Ben Parrish, I haven't seen him. And so I'm just like, oh, you're gonna reunite, like, that's a fact. So I wasn't that surprised that it was Ben. I was really surprised by some of the twists and turns regarding the alien invaders. I think the fifth wave is really interesting, making humans kind of turn on humans. I was a little confused because I thought the fourth wave was kind of the drones, but it was also kind of the, aliens looking like people, and then the fifth wave is like the alien people and then making humans turn on other humans. But then I was really confused about whether or not the people were aliens all knew that they were alien people. So that was the only thing that I got confused about, was whether or not like everyone knew and had a job or not. And then when they were kind of like flipping everything toward the end, when they realized that they were making them kill other humans, I was just like, oh, like, how do they know that they're human then? And so I was just really confused by that. Did anyone else find that to be kind of unclear? Because I went along with it and I was reading it, but I got done and I was just like, wait, what? How did that work? Let's talk about romance for a second, because there was romance in this book and I did not think that there was going to be any, because this is a story about alien invasion survivors. Why does there need to be any romance? Like, can't there be a young adult book without a romantic plot? Is that really so hard, Yancey, to put this cover on a book and then just leave it at this cool, mysterious plot and have no love triangle set up? That was the thing. As soon as Cassie met Evan Walker and they were all, whoa, we're kind of in love and blah blah, you saved me and blah 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 blah. Like, I thought that was really cool, but then I was like, oh, but she's gonna go save her brother and meet Ben Parrish again, and there's gonna be like a weird dynamic there. And I know he kind of threw in Ringer to kind of offset the love triangle, but I still think there's gonna be a love triangle, and we'll see if that plays out in the second book. I really hope it doesn't, because I think love triangles are stupid. They're probably the worst trope to come out of young adult fiction, like, ever. I was kind of looking forward to reading a book about aliens and people surviving alien attacks, not having a romantic element, but the way he did it was okay, but I can see a setup for a young adult, you know, love triangle trope, and that kind of was disappointing. The waves of the alien invasion, because I thought that was really interesting, hearing from Cassie's perspective about, you know, the first wave and the second wave, and especially the third wave, because that sounds like it was the worst, and I know it's a made up, but I want to hear more about that. And it was kind of referenced in Ben's perspective in his chapters, but I wanted more of his experience with the invasion, because we got so much of Cassie's. We were introduced to the invasion through Cassie, and so I wanted to hear more about how Ben's family was kind of like eradicated, I guess, which might seem kind of dark and macabre, but now I have this like itching curiosity to know like what happened to his whole family, and you know, did they stay in the same city? Because how would Cassie like not have ever seen him in their city if they stayed there? So that was kind of my question, was how did they never encounter each other, you know, throughout all this stuff, if both of them survived and both of them were in the same place? Because I mean, I guess I don't really know what city they were in, if it's a small town, a big city, a medium-sized city, I don't know. And so that was the only thing that I was just like, well, like I would have liked to hear more about him, so I could not have this question of why didn't they ever see each other in that whole time that they were, you know, living in the same city and going through the plague and everything else with their whole family. So Rick Yancey, answer my question. Last thing I want to talk about is Rick Yancey does a really good job describing really horrible shit. Like, horrible stuff. Like people dying, and people dying of like this weird horrible plague, and people killing each other, and people having horrific injuries, and he deals with them very realistically, and I really like that. But I've read reviews of The Monstrumologist, I think that's his other like big series, and it sounds like all the gory, gross stuff that he has in here is kind of toned down from what he's written before. So my question is, people who have read other books by Rick Yancey, do you agree with my novice assessment that this is toned down for him, while others might find this a little gross? But it was interesting to find such gory, gross things in a young adult novel. I think it's good. I think it's interesting to have young adults, because I know, like, I'm 22, I'm kind of at the upper end of people who are probably reading this stuff. But having teenagers and even preteens being exposed to things that might be a little grittier and grosser and darker, I think that's great. So what do you think? So if you have anything to say to any of my review and discussion topics, please put them down below. Mark that they're spoilers, because I don't want anyone to start reading the comments and see lots of spoilers. If you have anything you want to bring up about the book, I would love to talk with you about it, because I love this book and I have not gotten any of my friends to read it yet. So BookTube, come to my aid and tell me what you thought of The Fifth Wave. That's my review and discussion of The Fifth Wave. If you've made it this far, congratulations, that means you read the book, hooray! And don't forget to like and subscribe. I love talking to all of you in the comments, so definitely leave a comment. So I will be making another video very soon. I'm going to be doing the poetry book tag. I was tagged by Lainey to do that. And I'm also planning on doing the autumn book tag, because autumn is my favorite season and I love reading, so this just goes hand in hand for me. And toward the end of the month I will be doing a wrap-up video, just like everyone else on BookTube, so look out for that. And eventually I will do the bookshelf scavenger hunt tag, but that's probably going to be in October because I have to do these other tags and everything else first. That being said, have a lovely day, and I will speak to you guys again soon. Bye!